Sunday morning. Dr. Peter Michalos. Live long and prosper. And thank you, Dr. Peter Michalos, for allowing our listeners to live longer and listen to WABC longer. And tell us, what items do you have for us today?
Well, today we're going to talk about something really fascinating and very important to our longevity. And basically, the Earth's crust turns out to be similar in our bodies and our bloodstream, the same elements and minerals that are found in the crust of the Earth, the nitrogen, the magnesium, the hydrogen, the calcium, the carbon, the phosphorus. They are all similar to what we have in our bloodstream and in our tissues. So we really are what comes out of the soil. And also, the soil has its own microbiome. And basically, every teaspoon of soil has 1 billion bacteria. And I mean, that's like hard to even imagine. And our gut has 100 trillion microorganisms, and 38 trillion of them are bacteria. And we have 5,000 different bacterial species that live in our gut. And that basically is involved in the digestion of food and our immunity. So the relationship between our soil and what we eat and who we are is just totally, completely fascinating. So what we eat is very important, but what comes out of the earth and what comes out of the soil is the most important things to eat. And the way we handle our food and prepare our food, we're learning more and more about longevity. For example, we now know that when man touches oils, and we have all these seed oils, they are toxic and they cause a lot of problems, including our central belly abdominal fat is associated with seed oils, like all these vegetable oils and cottonseed oils. They're bad for us. And it turns out that the temperatures that we cook the oils and how we treat these things from nature, like avocado oil has what's called a smoking point of 520 degrees. So you don't want to cook it that hot. Olive oil, which has oleic acid, which turns on our longevity genes, and that one we want to not cook it above 465 degrees, and we want cold-pressed olive oil. And the last one that we can use is coconut oil, which is around 465 smoking point, because once it smokes, it changes the oil and it's not healthy anymore. So the ideal temperature when we cook and prepare things is 350 to 375 degrees when we're sauteing things and baking things. And we want to avoid man-made margarine because it turns out that causes great problems. Another way we treat
Doctor, does that mean if people think they're healthy and they put 3 eggs in a frying pan and put olive oil in it, thinking it's healthy, that if the frying pan goes above that degree temperature, is that a problem?
Then it becomes, yeah, it is. The whole trick is you slow heat. When you make it smoke, then it's no good. So you never bring it up to a temperature where it's smoked. That's called the smoking point. And the same thing with meats and hamburgers and hot dogs and bacon. We now know when people want their burnt bacon and burnt well-done meat, it produces nitrosamines, which are known to have carcinogenic compounds in it called PAHs. They're called polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons, and those things now have been proven to be associated with cancer. So those are one of the things, if you can have an option, avoid burnt bacon, burnt meat, or things that, even barbecue, you got to peel that black stuff, the burnt stuff on there. That's all carcinogenic, and we now know that. So you need to protect against that. And also the things that we cook in, for example, aluminum pans, the utensils. Aluminum seems to have an association possibly with Alzheimer's, and some people think it competes with the things like lithium orotate, which has been found to be protective in the brain. They found that the amyloid plaque in Alzheimer's patients sucks up all the good lithium orotate that's healthy for the brain. We now know that the cutting boards we use, wooden cutting boards, flourish bacteria because they have all these micro crevices. I've purchased a titanium cutting board, much easier to clean, doesn't hold on to any bacteria, and it turns out that may be healthier and less risk of contamination, just like a lot of people who do chickens on their counter and on cutting boards. It holds on to bacteria, and there's many cases of people getting food poisoning from things like that. So these are some of the things that you can do to help protect our bodies against the toxicities. But good soil is very important. A big study out of China showed that the people where there were belts of areas with centenarians, where people were living 100, it was lower altitude mountainous areas with clean oil, clean soil, clean air, and the clean water. And those belts in China, they found, had a whole bunch of people living over 100 years old. So we now know that a lot of our stripped soil, like filled with the heavy metals, like we talked about with chocolate bars and cadmium, it turns out that cadmium was found in a lot of the brands of over-the-counter chocolate. And they found that the older cacao trees had more cadmium. Why? Because it's called bioaccumulation. The leaves have the most cadmium in it, and the leaves fall down below the cacao tree, and then they get reabsorbed into the soil. So just like older fish have more mercury, larger fish have more mercury, the older trees of cacao have more heavy metals, and they found a lot of the dark chocolates are filled with cadmium, which is toxic to humans. So I think that one of the things that we might be seeing in the future, especially with the new administration that's into health, is that there'll be independent testing of products and say that this product has been screened for pesticides, for example, and heavy metals like aluminum and arsenic and lead. So I think that's going to be something to also help make America healthy again, to know what exactly is in our supplements, our rice, our food, and our water, especially the bottled water, and even to measure the microplastic amounts and publish that, just like they publish the carbohydrates, how much sugar is in a different food. They should do that with water and tell us what's in the water, what pesticides were found, how much microplastics per milliliter are in there. So these are all things to try to make us healthier again, because the cleaner our soil and our water is, and the closer we can be to the Mediterranean diet, it looks like that those are the people who have are the most of the centenarians who get to live to be 100.
Well, Dr. Peter Michalos, I thank you for everything you do to let our listeners live longer, live long and prosper, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, John, for always getting the truth out. And you can get more information on WABC and listen to many podcasts on health to learn more and stay healthy.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.